Hello and welcome to another episode of the Flashback Cartoon Hour. I'm your loving bald host with the most from coast to coast, Nick Retroman Lascola. And joining me today is the wonderful Tony. Say hi, Tony.
Sup, y'all? I look forward to hosting you today on the Flashback Cartoon Hour with Nick Lascola, Retroman. Today's show is brought to you in part by the Chunkahunkas, a family-friendly group of fat asses. Now, also, I think, ladies and gentlemen, today is a very special day. In fact, it's also a reason to not just not go to work, but also continue to enjoy the U.S. of A. as it is. God bless our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks to everybody who has served in the military. Growing up, my whole family, my parents, my grandparents, my brother, everyone's all connected to the VA. I've always grown up with veterans. I've always cooked for vets, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for the people who serve this country. They're the real heroes.
Amen. So today we're covering Rambo, The Force of Freedom. Take it away, Nick.
So it's actually kind of funny because we had no intention of doing a Rambo cartoon on Veterans Day. It just kind of happened to fall this way. And I mean, when life gives you lemon, make fucking lemon meringue pie, baby. And so today we are doing the 1986 series Rambo, The Force of Freedom.
Yes, sir. I realize this is an emergency. If the General's forces are moving into Tierra Libre, we've got to stop them. And there's only one man who can do it. Get me Rambo.
Rambo is like I said, 1986 American animated show that is based on the Rambo book and film series, otherwise originally known as the book First Blood, written by author David Morrell. Morale? Sorry, David. Everyone who's been a constant listener to the show knows that we are terrible with names, but forgive me, David. We'll go with Morale. It was produced by the company Ruby Spears Enterprises, which is no stranger to this show. We have covered such series like Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, The Karate Kid, all these different shows. And they have such a unique and distinct, Captain N. They have like such a... Like, you can tell when a Ruby Spears
style.
series, yeah. The New Adventures of Speed Racer. It's almost like it's anime influenced mixed with Scooby-Doo. You can tell it when you see it. You know what I mean?
And seeing is believing.
Amen. The series premiered on April 14th, 1986. It began as a 5-part miniseries, which eventually became its own full television series on September 15th of the same year. In whole, including the miniseries beginning, 65 episodes were created for the first and only season. But that's fine because, as we know, 52 episodes is what is needed to be syndicated. The show was directed by John Kimball and Charles Nichols, written by Michael Chain and Jack Bornoff.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because the premise of the show is similar to G.I. Joe, but it's got its own unique flair. Where John Rambo was once a one-man army, he is now the leader of a special force, if you can believe it. And, for anybody who's ever seen the movies, think about that. Definitely possible, right? You can imagine it. Dude sets his own bear traps and maims people, lets them go just a little bit, at least in the movies. So the premise of the show is similar to G.I. Joe. It's got its own style, it's got its own flair. Where John Rambo was once a one-man army, he is now the leader of a special force unit called the Force of Freedom. This Force of Freedom consists of a few members, including your favorite, Colonel Sam Troutman.
If they grab you, there'll be nothing we can do. Our government's not officially involved in this.
Well, I am. I'm not about to let that international bandit take over a free country.
I didn't think you would.
Turbo. Yeah, Turbo, who's basically their super smart, cool mechanic, makes all the cool fast cars happen in the show. You gotta have that.
Yep.
It was the 80s, right? Fast cars
Yeah.
and beautiful babes.
And Turbo Haze is really something. Remind me never to let you park my car.
Rambo! What brings you here?
Troutman needs us.
Turbo, you can't leave now. You're in first place.
And fucking explosions happening every other scene.
Well, that's where they find him when he goes and collects everybody. He's working on in NASCAR, I believe, as as a mechanic.
Oh, I'm getting carried away. And then the other member is Kat, who is the master of disguise and, possibly Rambo's love interest. We never really know. They keep it ambiguous.
Give my best to the general.
The primary goal and the show's overall theme is to fight the treacherous group Savage, which is acronymed, by the way, and prevent them from spreading their reign of terror. If you're wondering, this acronym translates to Specialist Administrators of Vengeance, Anarchy, and Global Extortion, probably unlike anything you've ever heard before. The majority of the episodes involve Colonel Sam Troutman ringing Rambo. Yeah, no, it's true, everybody. I mean, the phone rings, and but it's not just the phone that rings; it's the helicopter that rings in this show too.
Oh man!
But anyway,
I literally just saw an episode where we had talked about it earlier, and I'll mention it later too. Whereas he has to go get Rambo, and Rambo's meditating in the middle of a forest, and a deer comes up and eats straight out of Rambo. I'm talking like full crisscross applesauce on the ground, and a deer walks up and eats out of Rambo's hands, and all of a sudden, Troutman, Rambo, we need you, and he's fucking yelling through the megaphone.
No, it's so ridiculous, and it's like the helicopter never hits anything too. It's always at like the perfect angle, the right speed. Like one time, to kind of build off of that on one of the episodes. And folks, I'm sorry we're kind of going off on this tangent, but before we go any further,
about Rambo.
So, like, Rambo, for example, was, like, climbing some rock cliff, and, like, there was, like, a nest of birds and a tree, and Rambo's just sitting there, very peacefully feeding the birds, and then all of a sudden the helicopter comes out, and Troutman's like, Rambo, we need you, and Rambo's like, what? Okay, we're on it, just fucking springs right into action. But, it's always during the quiet moments, right? Fucking pops up out of nowhere. I mean, whoever can really maneuver a chopper like that in real life, please send us your resume. I want to go on a flight with you.
The shit that they do in this show, like I said, me and Tony, a couple years ago, we reviewed the 80s Karate Kid, the animated series cartoon, and there was some ridiculous shit in that Miyagi was doing. And this show is equal to, if not more ridiculous, with the maneuverability of ships, boats, helicopters. People, the amount of times I've seen Rambo just grab onto like the little leg of a helicopter and just fly away. Like, do you know how much upper body strength you need to be holding on to the fucking heli? I watched him do it with one fucking hand. One hand, dude, and he had a bomb in the other hand.
Yeah. He's Superman. Like, they really gave him Superman-like qualities. He also looks like significantly larger, like, compared to other characters too, like Kat and Turbo.
Yeah.
Like in some of the scenes, like it shows him with like a 12-pack and he's rowing or whatever. Yeah. And it's ridiculous. And it's actually funny that you mentioned that because like this show was filled with a lot of hand-to-hand combat and, gunfire. And, like, we're not talking about, like, stuff that's, like, loosely based off of, like, the appearance of guns that you might suggest otherwise. Like, we're talking about accurately illustrated weaponry. And, like, the shots are fired and they're real. And, like, in some of the scenes, like Rambo's like ducking behind a wall or whatever, and he's in the line of fire, like literally in the line of fire. Like the whole screen is lit up, and like they light it up just to illustrate the bullets so that you know what's going on. But with that, it's like, okay, like not a single one of these bullets is hitting this man. Like
it's the Commando effect, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. They're like, well, what if we take that premise and we give it to Rambo in the cartoon? Like, how does not want to? I've seen this dude tank explosions, and yeah, he can get sent flying, but like kind of get up, and like his uniform might be a little dirty, but like you're not seeing blood or anything. But I will say I was impressed with like the hand-to-hand combat that they do. A lot of 80s shows in particular, to get away with censorship, they would always do like wrestle moves. You would see them like kind of pick somebody up and throw them. Every once in a blue moon, you might see a kick, but there's like no force behind the kick. This, you actually see them land punches, land kicks and stuff, and that I respect a lot.
Yep, it's true. Like, and that's what really makes a show kind of fun to watch. Like, it's honestly so kind of a slow burn, but like generally speaking, like it's not a bad way to kill 20 minutes. Like, because it's pretty adventurous. The one thing that off the bat, since like we're kind of freestyling here, I would say like the fact that it's like it always never takes place in one location. Like sometimes there's like an episode that's like dedicated to a specific location.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a worldwide affair. So like you kind of get like a cartoon interpretation of like the world as like you're going through the series.
A lot of made up locations, I found out. Like a lot of the places that they visit. Like
the Bindu people or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. And so like the first 5 episodes that we talked about, technically if you look it up, they consider that the first 5 episodes as season 1, and then the rest of the episodes are all season 2.
Yes, in fact, wasn't it like a mini series?
Yeah, it was. So that miniseries, I actually kind of like that because it was a continued story throughout the 5 episodes, where it was like, all right, the next episode's kind of picking up. It is its own unique episode, but it's the same place. It's the made-up area of Terra Libre, and Rambo's kind of going over there to help out and fight Savage and all that stuff. But that is a made-up location with a made-up people. You know what I mean? But if you ask me, it's very like Cuba inspired. If
yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned that, because like the first 5 episodes, in fact, wasn't one of the episodes about like somebody from South America's daughter getting captured? And
so that's the Terra Libre. They're in Terra Libre, and it's the president's daughter.
What's the situation, Rambo? General Warhawk's wiped out all the resistance. The army, the president, and his daughter are all in jail.
I've got Cat, Rambo. You're going to have to come and get her.
I'm on my way, Sergeant Havoc.
Yeah, they all look South American, like kind of like Cuba, Cuban, Colombian influenced, kind of a little bit,
even with their accent.
And like that's funny too, because I think like is that like the first episode of the miniseries? Like, is that the pilot?
Yeah, because that's why he gets called in to go They captured the daughter,
Rambo, we need you.
and General Warhawk, who's the leader of Cobra. I mean, Savage is the he
Whoa,
basically
did you get something caught in there?
he's the one who like captured the daughter, and he was like forcing the president to like kind of do his bidding.
Do lavish
Otherwise,
acts.
yeah.
And do his bidding and get $1 million. Pretty much like every episode is like, almost every episode like kind of starts off and like kind of peacefully. Like, in fact, this first episode, like they just kind of show the village. It's very quiet at night. There's like a dog sleeping, and then all of a sudden, at the turn of a dime, like the tank comes in, knocks down the wall. The dog's like, and like, like magically like jumps out of the way in time. By the way, like the scene literally shows the tank right next to the dog, and the dog, with all the explosions and everything, just manages to just get out of the way of all of that and come out intact.
Out of my way, flea bag!
And like basically Warhawk comes in and he's like, quick, let's excavate our plan and get going before Rambo gets here. I'll show him.
Rambo.
The way he talks is pretty hilarious. Have you noticed that? Like,
oh, all of them. The way they all talk is great. And the way he shits on his own people, but then like when you actually sit there and realize that like he's not lying, his people are fucking stupid. And we'll go into that in a little.
Literally though. Literally. Yeah, because there's a lot to say there. But yeah, so basically like there's a lot to unpack here. The music for the show used parts of Jerry Goldsmith's scores from First Blood and the Rambo First Blood Part 2 movies. I thought that was a really nice touch. It also includes some original composition that's like pretty complimentary. That was done by Haim Saban and Shuki Levy.
Who we've also talked a lot about on our show too.
It gives it a nice, consistent feeling, especially for people who have watched and loved the Rambo movies.
My big thing with this, and you brought it up a little bit earlier, was like there's no real there's no like real blood and killing and stuff. Although in my mind I set it up that there is killing, because not always do they show the people jumping off the ships, so whenever there's an explosion, so I'm just like, oh it's like Speed Racer. They might have died, but you know, we're just gonna kind of blast past it real quick, and you never know. I really enjoyed that. I feel like what I think they should have done with this series is they could have done like a Rurouni Kenshin kind of thing where like Rambo is sworn off killing. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's so
like he's
messed
done.
up. Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna try and like what's the word, like redeem myself. Yeah.
So it's actually funny that you mentioned that, because that's kind of the premise of the third Rambo movie. Although it doesn't really stay that way for long. Like it basically I mean, so
especially
basically
by the fourth Rambo movie.
Well, honestly though, should have just stopped at 3, but whatever. So but in the third movie, the premise of that, just to kind of give it away a little bit, just in case for anybody who's probably never going to watch a movie again, Colonel Troutman gets like invited on some special mission to go fight for Afghan, to kind of like free them from like the Soviet Union clutches. That was the big thing at the time. In fact, the movie was dated as soon as it came out, which is a different story. Like, oh, what? We're still shitting on the Soviet Union? Didn't they like
crumble in the 80s?
I mean, literally, it was pretty hilarious.
90s. Yeah.
But so basically, Troutman goes and searches and finds Rambo, and it's pretty difficult because he like retired kind of. He like
Hmm.
went off into the sunset. He's like working on some it's actually very similar to the cartoon, because in the cartoon like almost every other episode is like this imagery of Rambo, like fixing a roof or feeding
Yep.
some birds or climbing a mountain or whatever. And like the third movie, he's like basically working on a roof on something, and Colonel Troutman shows up and he's like, "Oh, yeah, you showed up," and it's just like they start talking, like it's just like a very similar premise. So actually, I would even say that whoever wrote the third movie probably watched the cartoon and thought, "Hey, wow, these are like great ideas for the third movie." And yeah, so
Especially because the third movie came out a good 2 years after this series aired. Because this was 1986, and the third movie, I'm looking it up right now, came out in 88.
yeah, and it's actually kind of funny too because in like the third movie, there's even humor that's like very similar to the cartoon with like the one-liners and stuff.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah.
so like Troutman's trying to convince Rambo to fight with him against the Russian forces in Afghanistan, and Rambo's like, "I've done my time. I don't want to do this anymore, George Troutman." And and Troutman's like, well, you were a good son. Thanks for serving your country." And then he takes off, and
Gives him a little kiss.
yeah, he's like, "All right, thanks, Rambo." And then like, "Thanks." And then whoa, they get captured by the Russians. So then like Rambo is all of a sudden like, well, this wasn't my war, but now it's my war." And then he
I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. But I'm here now.
show me your greatest and latest weapons. Anything that can fit in my leg. That would be great. Thanks. And
this whole episode's going to be me and Tony doing our Stallone impersonation because it's a good chunk
maybe
of our
even
friendship is
Schwarzenegger.
based off of
It was, yeah,
Stallone
it
and
was.
Schwarzenegger. That's why this episode's so near and dear to me.
The love for the classic pissing contest movie icons. Honestly, in retrospect, it's still undecided who won that. And it's a pretty damn close call.
It's super close.
Because, Schwarzenegger actually had some really awesome late 80s movies that he kind of snuck in there last second that really
And I
rounded
felt
him
like
off.
he could do comedy a lot better than Stallone. Stallone had like awesome straight action movies, and you could like you said, you could tell with Rambo 3 that even when he did dive into the realm of comedy, it didn't hit as well as like when Schwarzenegger was doing like Twins, True Lies, like
Yeah.
things, you know what I mean? Like Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, he was always better doing comedy within, like, the confines of, like, the character that he was playing. In fact, I would take this moment to mention to Sylvester Stallone, you're a great emotional actor, in case if you are watching. We love this cartoon. You probably don't, but
you
we
hate
do.
it.
So, you're a pretty good emotional actor there.
Just to talk about a couple of the characters and voice actors, we're not going to dive too much into it like we have in the past, but to talk about the Force of Freedom, we have John Rambo, voiced by Neil Ross, because Stallone wanted nothing to do with this series. We have Colonel Sam Troutman, voiced by Alan Oppenheimer, also known as Skeletor or Ming the Merciless in the Flash Gordon series.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Talk about range.
Oh, dude. I
Would've
mean, he
never
basically does, he does the same voice on both of them. Daughter, go put on some clothes. We have Edward Turbo Hayes, voiced by James Avery, and anyone who would know that name knows him as Shredder from the 80s Ninja Turtles TV series, or as Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We have Catherine Ann Cat Taylor, voiced by Mona Marshall, We have White Dragon, voiced by Robert Ito, which we've also talked about in different episodes. He's done stuff like bit roles in like Avatar: The Last Airbender and stuff. Next, we have TD Touchdown Jackson, voiced by George DiCenzo. And then last, we have Chief, who is voiced by Alan Oppenheimer. And Tone, I'll let you go into the voices of Savage.
Yeah, so our friends at Savage are General Warhawk, who's voiced by Michael Ansara, Sergeant Havoc, voiced by Peter Cullen,
a.k.a. Optimus Prime.
Gripper, voiced by Lenny Weinrib, Nomad, voiced by Edmund Gilbert, Mad Dog, voiced by Frank Welker, Black
Who is
Dragon.
Fred from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Frank Welker is Fred from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, that's hilarious. Like, hey, gang, I just found a clue guy. Black Dragon, also voiced by Robert Ito. Snakebite, voiced by Stanley Ralph Ross, and Dr. Hyde, voiced by Edmund Gilbert. You'll see in this cast a lot of the members play different characters in the show.
I love that this series, again, we're going to keep equating it to G.I. Joe, the Real American Hero.
Well, I mean, that's like basically what it was, right? It was almost like a G.I. Joe clone.
It was, but if you ask me, a little bit cooler because like you said, the realistic use of weapons. Like G.I. Joe was always like, oh, I'm gonna do my little laser pew 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 pew, and it's still kind of the same thing. No one was really dying. No one was really like getting
really
blood
done
in
here either.
Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying. Like, well, a lot of people will downplay this as not as good as G.I. Joe, and my argument is like, why? It's rumored that the writing team led by Michael Chain worked with a child psychologist to confirm it would not have any adverse harmful effects on young children's mind. Michael Chain denies this conversation ever took place and instead claims that his own experience with producing children's programming ensured the cartoon would not harm the psyche of children.
Yeah. So I got something to say about that. So, like just to kind of touch upon some of the points, so there is a lot of violence that occurs in the show, but like it's like done in such a way where it's almost like dreamlike in a sense of that, like you're kind of close to it, but nothing ever actually happens. For example, like there are a bunch of explosions going off. Like Warhawk, for example, is like fleeing a truck and Rambo launched an RPG at it, and like the whole thing just explodes, and Warhawk is basically within like a shrapnel radius at least. Like he would at least get hit by some kind of shrapnel, something
100%.
that would maim him in like any other circumstance. And I'm just kind of ranting about this because like
no, I want to jump off of that for a second because I was going to bring it in a part of one of the episodes that I watched, and this isn't going to give anything away, but I just I wrote this down as a highlight of the episode because they're basically character is accepting a Nobel Peace Prize, and Savage is coming in to like steal this physicist, and at the beginning of the episode, it starts off where like they're dressed up. Savage members are dressed up as the wait staff, and they literally put a stick of TNT dynamite in a like serving tray, and then they put the cover on, but they only put like 10 seconds for the bomb, and by the time they put the thing on, there's 7 seconds left. And I'm like, that is not enough time for you guys alone to they like place it down on a cart and then slowly walk away, where I was like, that thing would have fucking blown up now. But then when it does blow up, everyone just kind of looks over to the corner of the room that has the explosion. I'm like, how are not all these people dead right now?
No, honestly.
There was like 4 or 5 sticks of dynamite all bundled up together. I was like, all of those people would fucking be dead.
And
no one was scathed.
And like, you know, I don't want to really like I'm not trying
Shit
to be
on
like
it. Yeah.
overly critical, because like this is a cartoon, so it's like there are some liberties that can be taken like those,
Yeah.
but it's always like I just
Funny.
think the statement about harming the psyche of children, like for me, like if I was a kid and like I was watching this shit and like somebody put a stick of dynamite inside like a dinner tray thing, like I would probably want to do that, not gonna lie. I would probably find a way to do that, and then if somebody like asked me after the fact, what were you thinking? I probably would have been like, well,
Rambo did it.
I saw this on Rambo, you know.
At least
like,
stick a firecracker in there and see how that goes, you know, and then
Well,
go up from there.
I mean, it's probably more realistic.
Yeah,
Because, you know,
yeah.
what kid's going to have access to a stick of dynamite? We'll let that go. But yeah, no, so, you know, it's just kind of funny because, like, there are so many instances in the show where, like, you'll see everybody having close calls, but, like, nothing ever happens. And, like, in that sense, it's kind of funny because, like, if a kid's watching and, like, children are easily influenced by programming or whatever, and they're watching that, like, are they truly believing without a parent telling them first? Like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, like, because something way, way worse will actually come out of that than you imagine. Same thing with the stream of bullets going beyond, like, when, like, Rambo's ducking behind a wall or whatever, and, like, the whole screen's lit up. It's like, if I was a kid, I'd probably jump in the middle of a line of bullets and go, nothing can touch me, because Rambo,
Yeah.
Rambo got away with it.
Well, my big thing
I'm
with
just
a
kidding,
lot
I
of
wouldn't.
the 80s cartoons and censorship in general, especially in the 80s and early 90s, that I fucking hate is I hate when shows like kind of baby you. Because like we grew up and we were pretty young when we were first watching Dragon Ball Z, right? And never once did I feel like I want to blow up an entire planet of people. I want to shoot somebody through a chest. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you would you would do the fight moves, but like you never actually wanted to like mimic that stuff. And so I don't know why they thought like back in the 80s that like, oh, if we show this, this is going to lead to children doing it, you know?
Well, you know, there's something to be said for that. I mean, like, that's kind of a hot topic of
yeah, well, that's it. Always
debate.
falls under: is it the TV shows people are watching? Is it the video games people are playing?
Yeah.
Is it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of similar to like the Grand Theft Auto conversation. Like, oh, now that Grand Theft Auto's out, it's going to encourage kids to run around killing people with guns and stuff. But, you know, I think for the purposes of the show, like, it's all cartoon-like, so no one ever really gets hurt, and I think that's really the message that Michael Chain was driving there. Like, okay, like, we're like, basically gonna realistically portray this because it's a war cartoon, basically. It's about a veteran and his group, right? But we're going to do it in such a way where it's pretty much like gentle. Like no one actually ever dies and whatever.
Yeah, so I was going to say it's funny because this is the first animated series that is based off of a rated R property. Yep. And however you feel about the cartoon, it did inspire more series, kid animated series based off of rated R properties. Like you would end up getting 2 different RoboCop series. You end up getting the what's the Police Academy movie series, which are rated R, end up getting their own animated series. Yeah.
Cartoon?
Yep. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like this was the first one to do it though, where it's clearly a money grab, but like also, in my opinion, kind of worked.
I think it's fun. Yeah. I mean, like, It's kind of a shame you can't really find it for sale on DVD anymore. That was kind of like a limited print type thing.
Probably Stallone's.
No, right? He's like, if I have something to say about it, well, this ain't coming out. But speaking of Stallone, you know, he notoriously denounced the series in 1986, while doing an interview with the Chicago Tribune to promote the movie Cobra. Stallone was asked how he personally felt about the animated series and toy line, in which he replied it infuriated him. And, quote, the movie was not supposed to be for little kids, and I wouldn't let my own children play with those toys, unquote. And, I think that's kind of an interesting take. Like, why do you think he didn't like it all that much?
I think it's because Stallone has to be macho man, manly man, and Stallone gets very into his characters. He gets into Rambo. He super gets into Rocky. I feel like
I mean, he is Rocky.
I feel like to him it was kind of like embarrassing in a way where like this thing, like now people are going to look at the movies and probably feel like, oh, well, now it's a little silly. And then in turn, Rambo 3 comes out. And like we had mentioned earlier, all the silliness that involved with Rambo 3.
Yeah, I think also too, to kind of build off of what you're saying, like I think a lot of people probably kind of looked twice and thought like, what? Like you're gonna take a series about a potentially disgruntled Vietnam veteran and turn it into a kid's idea?
Yeah.
Like where is this gonna go? And
they got rid of like a good like a big thing with Rambo was his PTSD from being in the war and how he was dealing with that in modern everyday life.
Yeah, that was like First Blood, yeah.
And they like completely get rid of that. Now, I don't know if in between at some point in the first movie in this series, there's supposed to be that like he becomes Mr. Tranquil because like again, he's the one who's always like helping out the creatures in a forest that's like about to be lit on fire, or like a bird that's egg like fell out of the nest and he needs to go get it. And like, you know what I mean? Like he's doing all these things.
I think like doing time in prison will probably do that to you. You get it up the bunghole once too many times, you start to chill out after a while.
Nobody is putting it in Rambo's bunghole in prison.
Yeah, I know, right? Like he'll just take a toothpick and fucking kill him.
Yeah. You're not. He's not trapped in there with you. You're trapped in there with him.
It's like something Troutman would say, right? Like, oh, you better hope you have a good supply of body bags because you have Rambo.
Yeah.
And like that's what's funny. That's what's kind of fun about the whole series too, as well as like the movies. They kind of carry that whole, oh well, you better pray for Rambo, not God, being like to have mercy or whatever, because it's gonna be Rambo that fucking comes down and kills you.
Yeah.
Now it's funny that we're kind of talking about that because in the cartoon series, Rambo is like the global ambassador, so it's almost like a flip 180. Like he's like friends with like the leaders in India and Egypt. Yep. He's like, hey, like, here I am. Like, oh, Rambo, we need you.
Rambo visits the ghetto.
Hey, how's it cooking? And like so like it's kind of funny because like they really took the serious edge off of the character and like gave him a way more warm-toned, friendly, like I'm like your buddy's buddy personality.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. And it really sets the series from apart. And what's also really interesting about that flippin' character is the fact that David Morrell, the original author of First Blood, the book, which is a great book, by the way. If you haven't read it, absolutely read it. Well, like the movies do the best based off the books, but
Well, they have audiobooks now too, so I feel like that's an easier way to take in full books and stories.
Yeah, it's honestly just like a really interesting read.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's credited as a writer on the show, but to what extent, I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
It's interesting to think about, though.
I was trying to look into the who was writing which episodes, and I don't know if they just credited him as a writer on the show because he was the original author of the character, or if like he actually sat down and wrote a few episodes. But for the life of me, I couldn't find an episode that he was like listed as the original author, but there was a lot of episodes to get through, so maybe I just missed it, you know?
Well, I mean, even so, I mean, like, you're not wrong, because, like, it is kind of curious. Because usually, like, but I have read before that, for, like, the fifth Rambo movie, even, David Morrell, during pre-production, sat down with, Stallone to write some of the story in the script.
Ooh.
So, he could have very well been active in the, development of the show.
Rambo: The Force of Freedom spawned a phenomenally successful toy line by Coleco, who made the toy line. That's Coleco. It ran from 1986 to 87, making it outlast the animated series, which it was based on. And I've looked at these toys; they're actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Coleco produced 6.5-inch tall and fully articulated action figures of the Force of Freedom group, ranging from John Rambo to Colonel Sam Troutman to Cat to White Dragon, and even General Warhawk and his evil savage colleagues like Sergeant Havoc and Black Dragon, Gripper,
Wow.
Mad Dog, and Nomad. Also, Coleco produced replicas of weapons like 50 caliber anti-aircraft guns, twin-mounted 7.62 millimeter machine guns, 20 millimeter automatic cannons, 50 caliber machine guns, 106 millimeter rifles, and tracker heat-seeking missile launchers. Coleco also produced replicas of vehicles like the Defender 6x6 assault vehicles, Skyfire assault copters, and Skywolf assault jets. There were also playsets produced like Savage Strike Cycle and Savage Strike Headquarters, all based on the Rambo TV series. The toys were remarkably successful, and many figures sold out worldwide.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, what a time to be alive, right? Like, You think they still make toys like that these days?
I've been looking at the toy lines that are out now, and I feel like there has been a dramatic drop in the toys for kids. Like, you have the Todd McFarlane series, like toys now aren't just for kids, whereas back then they were. Like, a lot of toys now are meant for like collectors and people who grew up, and like, you know what I mean? Like, now it's like the adult toys are the ones that get like the really defined paint jobs and defined muscles and stuff like that. Whereas like, if you look at the toys now, they just kind of look awful.
No, honestly though, it's kind of bizarre, right? Like,
yeah. But I guess it beats the 1960s where the G.I. Joes looked straight up like Ken dolls, just with like army clothing on, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
Like,
if you take a second, Tone, because I can edit out the quietness. So look up a picture of the toys. Just like type in Rambo Force of Freedom toys, because they do look awesome.
Yeah. So this is looking cool. Yeah, these toys.
If you had to pick, obviously, other than Rambo, because I feel like that would be everyone's go-to, the show's named after the dude, who would you go Sam Troutman as your next toy if you were in the 80s.
Only if he came with a phone or like a helicopter.
Well, the helicopter, right? Because we said that they had the copters. So
it'd be funny if he did have like a phone in his hand. And it's just like woo, and like it lights up.
Like me and you are in the 80s, and I'm Troutman, and you're Rambo, and we just make a scenario of me going to get you.
Rambo,
Get me Rambo. We
Well, I'm
need
coming.
Rambo.
I'm coming. Nah, yeah, I mean, like, that would be funny if they did have, I mean, I would probably have a Troutman Rambo set, and I'd have a
Yeah,
matching
for
Jeep to
sure.
go with it.
And to our listeners, if you get a chance, I recommend going to look up the toys too, because they are real unique looking. And I'll post some pictures on the Facebook page for our listeners too.
Yeah.
That being said, Tone, what would you rate this series on a scale from F to A+?
Well, probably like a B. B to B
Yeah?
plus. I mean, it's definitely passable.
Yep.
It's not the worst thing in the planet, and I think a lot of fans of Rambo out there will probably appreciate the series as kind of like its little goofy non-canon
Yeah, the
spin-off
black
because it
sheep in
is.
the family.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know about black sheep. It's just more like, like this is like it's just kind of like a crazy idea. Like,
Yeah.
who takes a R-rated property about Vietnam veterans suffering with PTSD and fitting into normal life and turns it into oh look, it's Rambo of the Globetrotters or the Force of Freedom, like just like totally just 180s it, and
I wish there was an episode where like Rambo
Superman.
just unmasked a villain.
You.
Professor Hyde White.
I think there's a lot of laughs to be had, especially like even if it's not the writing. I mean, like, the writing's pretty okay. It is. It's honestly not the best on the planet, but it's also fairly funny. Like, it's actually paced a little bit better than like other cartoons of the era. And I think really the real humor is just watching the animation and watching the kinds of crazy shit that they do. Like one of the episodes I was watching today, actually, like this shit's fucking ridiculous. Just like really quickly, it's like this. He's like climbing the Statue of Liberty with suction cups or whatever, and like he like gets like knocked off, and he's like falling down the entire Statue of Liberty, and he's hitting the rocks on his way down. It literally shows you that, and like he's just kind of lying there, and then he gets up after a few seconds, like nothing happened, and he's climbing again. Like,
yeah,
that's,
I
like,
wish he like just whacked a shoulder to place it back and like put it back in place or something, just to show that there's like some kind of damage. You don't have to show blood, but like, you know what I mean? Pull like what the Dragon Ball Super was doing, where like it's all just kind of black shaded out, like, you know what I mean? You don't have to show the blood, but you can show the battle damage.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you. I generally am picking it as a B plus because I did have a lot of fun watching this series. It was a lot of laughs. Whether that was the intention or not, regardless, it is in my mind a B plus in entertainment value. Right? You're getting the action. When me and you watched the Black Dragon episode and we were seeing the fight scenes, I was generally impressed with the punches and kicks that they were doing and the sound effects to it. And it wasn't just wrestle moves. I think the one-liners are great. You know me, I'm all about one-liners. It's one of my favorite things. Anytime I watch a Stallone or Schwarzenegger movie, that's what I watch it for, is the one-liners, you know? It's like Schwarzenegger, Batman, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of shit but thank you. It's like that shit that gets me, and I fucking love it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a B plus. So are you gonna stick with the B plus over a B?
I don't know. In the past 2 seconds, I've suddenly changed my mind. It's a C.
A C for you better see this series. Whoever
as in,
created
like,
it, please don't
next
shut us
Tuesday,
down.
Rambo.
If anyone,
it's
I
still a B+.
can't find the clitoris. Get me, Rambo.
Okay. Yep. So now you want to talk about favorite episodes?
Yeah, at this point, one thing on this show that the listeners will know that we like to pick a couple of episodes that we recommend. If I'm not saying you have to watch all 65 episodes of the series or however many it was, 65 or 67, something like that. But I'll start off with the first one, whereas I'm going to pick the episode 4 of that beginning 5-part miniseries called Raise the Yamato. While still at the country of Terra Libre, Rambo finds out from Kat, who was disguised and spying on Spectre. I mean, not Spectre. Jesus, that's James Bond. Of Savage, she was spying on them. That General Warhawk has risen the Yamato from underwater. And for those who don't know, the Yamato was a battleship that was used in World War II. It's an actual real ship that was basically a terror. It was used to fight the American superior navy. And it didn't really do too much in the water, but from what I was doing on my quick read up was that its last stand was that they basically marooned it on land and basically used it as like a giant base to fight everything else. And then it did eventually get sunk. But what General Warhawk does is he lifts it back up from underwater and then kind of soups it up to be even more of a force. And it is a ship that they use continuously throughout the series. So even after the miniseries is over, like Tony had said at the beginning of the episode, where it's this is kind of a global journey. It's every time that Savage shows up, it's usually they're taking the Yamato to that location. So I like that they used a real ship in this fictional place.
You've raised the Yamato, the finest battleship ever built. With it, I'm going to make Tierra Libre my own country.
Some highlights that I like of this episode is there's literally one point where Rambo is trying to rescue a bunch of naval officers who are trapped in a ship that is blowing up. And he kicks a steel door 2 times, a giant steel door on a battleship, and he kicks it and it breaks the door down. Just 2 bam, bam, and this steel door breaks down. And I'm like, what is this dude, fucking Hercules?
Yep. He's Rambo.
When do they teach that in boot camp? I want to know that. You know what I mean?
The men, they are trapped below. We must hurry, Rambo. We'll get you out.
Let me take a shot at it.
It worked.
Hey, man, we thought we were done for.
There's another favorite part of mine is that Rambo takes on the Yamato and a couple of other ships, a part of Savage, with just the soup up speedboat that Cat and Turbo basically just put a bunch of little machine guns and missiles on a speedboat. And so the little scene that you see is Rambo on a little itty bitty tiny boat gunning toward the Yamato. And he blows up, I think, 3 different battleships just from shooting fucking a rocket launcher. At one point, he rips the turret gun off the boat, which is another super strength feat, and just starts shooting everything. And again, he's they keep missing him.
Okay, General, let's get it on.
and he's like fucking weaving and bobbing, and eventually they do sink it, and so I was like, oh, okay, all right, they got him. But like Rambo's fine, he's just swimming at super speed. I don't know how the fuck he gets out, but yeah. So Raise the Yamato, I love those first 5 miniseries because I felt like the writing was a little bit better. It was a continued story, which I'm always more of a fan of, opposed to the like different villain of the week type of formula.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely unique in principle and almost kind of unheard of for a cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm with you there. I think what I really liked about that was one of my favorite episodes too, was one of the first ones in like the miniseries, not just because of the ridiculousness of everything's peaceful and then all of a sudden war and hell breaks loose. In fact, that's almost like every other episode. Like somewhere in the world it's like peaceful and these village people are living happily, and then Warhawk comes in. Oh, careful. Rambo's a tough one.
Rambo.
Yeah. He's always afraid of Rambo after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually funny. Yeah. So it's actually funny because, like, over time, like, it becomes more apparent that while Warhawk keeps going on these schemes, he's also keenly aware that anytime Rambo shows up, he's just like, all right, fuck this. Like, I'm throwing in the towel. Like, everybody retreat, like. Every time he shows
up. And the fact that he knows that the people that work for him are literally fucking idiots.
Well, it's true.
They are so fucking moronic. I forget what episode it is. I believe it might be the final episode of the whole series. And this isn't an episode I choose. I'm just going to bring this up real quick. But there's a point where Rambo is literally completely surrounded by a bunch of savage members on ATVs and motorcycles who all have guns pointed to him. And Rambo rescues a dog that's in the way and somehow runs out of bullet range and then comes back and kicks all their asses. And he literally, General Warhawk, like, yells at his men. He goes, like, you bumbling idiots. And I'm like, he's not wrong. You guys how the fuck did you fuck this up? You literally had him surrounded.
Get him! Wrap him up nicely, boys. Tomorrow is General Warhawk's birthday.
Be nice, Rambo, or this pooch's history. Get what I mean?
Give me the dog.
In a pig's eye! Ouch! Hey, he bit me! That's it, you bought it, mutt!
Get him, you bunk-like fools!
No, honestly, like, totally. Like, there are so many times where Rambo's getting shot at. In fact, even on screen, appears to get shot. I actually slowed down some of the video, and I watched one of the episodes, and literally, like, he takes a couple to the chest, but nothing happens. He just escapes.
He's trained his muscles so much
to reject General Warhawk.
They're so defined that they're bulletproof.
Literally. So
did you have a favorite, one of the favorite episodes you wanted to recommend for the listeners?
Yeah. Aside from the miniseries, which, just really quickly, I really like the Lost City of Arca. I like the music associated with it, the plot. Just really quickly, the Lost City of Arca is about, let's see here. Basically, like, General Warhawk and his forces find the Lost City of Arca in India, and he leads his soldiers into rounding up the the Bindus, that's right, in a plot to have them dig up their treasures. And, this one, the Bindus, dude. Like,
well, we can't call them
that's
Hindus.
Why it's my favorite.
What can we call them? Quick.
That's why it's my favorite.
What do we call them? The Bindus.
This is for kids. They'll never know. We'll never know. And no, because like this one's kind of funny to me because I think this is like one of the few episodes where like I've seen Rambo actually get pissed off. Because usually, like, Rambo throughout the series is, like, normally carefree and just like, yeah, I got a one-liner here, and I got a one-liner there, and I got a one-liner for everybody, and I got a RPG for this and a grenade for that. But in this one, but in this, but in this one episode, Rambo's sleeping, and some guy, like, breaks into his tent, and he's like, what the? And he lights it up, and some guy's like, Rambo, help! My Bindu friends are in this village and they're trapped by Warhawk, and Rambo is just grumpy. He's like, what's the matter? I'm like, I was sleeping.
What the?
Please, I'm sorry if I startled you. Bangkok, come here.
What do you want?
I have come to join forces with you.
At this time of the morning?
There is no time to lose. I am Chad, son of Burram, chief of the Bindus. My father and my people are prisoners of General Warhawk. I escaped, but they are in great danger.
Well, as long as I'm up anyway, I might as well be doing something useful. Let's go.
Like, oh, well, I guess if I'm awake, I might as well do something productive at this hour. And it's like, this poor guy just wanting help.
Oh, that's great because, like we had mentioned, there's so many times where, like, he'll be in the middle of meditation and Troutman will interrupt him, and
Shows
Rambo
up with
gives
the
no fucks.
helicopter.
He's like, "Oh, dude, say less. Let's go fucking save the world."
No, honestly, I can't wait to get my hands on General Warhawk. But then, you know, of course, in a moment of vulnerability and weakness, what do you mean you're waking me up? I guess I'll help you, scrub.
And one thing I wanted to say is I love how in every single one, and I do mean every single one of these episodes, even maybe more than once, maybe twice in a couple of episodes, there'll be a point where like Rambo has basically like a Sailor Moon transformation where
pretty much every episode is like that.
Every episode where like he's basically puts the knife in the boot, ties the bandana around his head. But the funny thing is, like, he already has all this stuff on him. So there's no point in the transformation. He's not like going in from civilian clothes into the Rambo like clothes, being shirtless with the red bandana and he already has that stuff on. So what is but that's supposed to signify like, all right, time to get serious. Now we're going to like,
I think he has a clean bandana per episode for good luck. like basically like that, like him like changing into like a fresh bandana is his like bulletproof juice. Like at that point, like nothing can touch Rambo.
And you know, I didn't think of it that way. True.
I mean,
that is a bulletproof bandana that probably puts an invisible shield around him so that he can't get shot.
Based off the way every episode goes, I think so.
You know what, Tone? Let's do a revival series. Me and you will write it.
Let's do it.
We'll call it Rambo versus Commando.
Well, anytime. You got any other favorite episodes?
Yeah,
like to recommend?
I'll go into. So this is again considered now that we're out of the miniseries, so it's considered season 2. But it'll be season 2, episode 10, The Deadly Keep. While I kind of brought it up earlier. While accepting a Nobel Prize, physicist Dr. Herbert Kensington is kidnapped by the Count.
That's a good one.
Who is a descendant of Vlad the Impaler. And anyone who knows the history of Vlad the Impaler knows that he is a real guy who actually inspired Count Dracula, the character. Bram Stoker, who wrote the book, wrote the character based off of the stories he heard of Vlad the Impaler. So henceforth, the Count looks just like Count Dracula would. He's got the whole like black cape on the back, but the red inside on it has that thick like Romanian type of accent to it.
General Warhawk,
We have Dr. Kensington.
Excellent. I'll be waiting at your castle.
I'm on my way.
But he plans to hand the doctor over to General Warhawk, who in turn is going to force him to use his I forget what the specific kind of experiment he was doing, but it in a way it was going to be used to create a doomsday device. And some highlights from the episode is, like I said, it starts off with the Count's henchmen putting the stick of TNT in the serving tray, and the explosion doesn't kill anybody. And that made me just laugh, literally laugh out loud. I thought that was fucking hilarious. The one thing I like about the Count is that he fights Rambo several times throughout the episode. And I find that he, of all the people on Savage, is one of the people who actually can put up a fight against Rambo. Like, Rambo struggled every time he fought the Count. You know, whether it was a sword fighting, there's at one point he has a ring on his finger that's like supposed to be the family crest ring that pops open a needle that has poison in it.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to sit like one cut from this and like you'll die immediately. And Rambo's like, hey, well, you know, you got to be fast enough to catch me. You know, it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard I can dodge.
You're a hard man to get rid of, Rambo.
I can't say the same thing for you.
This time you're up against an expert.
Talk's cheap.
Bravo! The ring contains a deadly poison. The slightest scratch, and you're dead.
You gotta hit me to scratch me.
But yeah, the Count does come back in a different episode because, again, it's kind of like at the end of every episode, it's like the villain gets away and, you know, we're on to the next one. But I did respect how much, like, the Count made Rambo struggle. And there is one more part before I let Tony go into his episode that I just remembered. There's a scene in the castle where the doctor is like basically tied up on a table, and there's a giant like sharp pendulum that's kind of swinging above him that's gonna like cut him in the stomach. And Rambo is sword fighting with, not with their dicks, but with actual swords, fighting the Count. And at one point, the Count like breaks Rambo's sword in half. And Rambo basically does like an M. Bison type of flying through the like the screen where like he flies from one end of the room to the other one.
There's a lot of that in the show.
Grabs the pendulum that's swinging over the doctor, breaks it off, and then spins around and hucks it at the Count. That was like, what? And that was great. So yeah, that's another episode for me is the Keep episode the Deadly Keep episode 10. And I'll pass it on to Antoine.
Thank you. I really liked episode 11 after that, Beneath the Streets. Basically, Mad Dog from Savage gets into the sewers beneath the Special Forces building and puts a bomb there. Meanwhile, this episode is interesting because Rambo has a friend from the war named Wrong Way, who like served with him in Vietnam. And what's kind of interesting about that is in like the first movie / like the book, like at like the very beginning of like the movie, at least, like Rambo's trying to find his like last Vietnam veteran pal, and like he like died from Agent Orange. But
right.
But this episode like depicts Rambo having like a buddy from the war, so like I thought that was kind of cool. This episode is just really full of kind of like the Superman tactics that Nick was alluding to earlier in the previous episode that kind of made this one a hit for me. Like really in this one, Rambo is just like taking engage grenades and throwing them back and like doing all this crazy shit that would never like really pass muster in the real world. And
yeah.
It's kind of interesting or it's kind of cool to see him work together with his friend Wrongway to cull the savage forces.
Stay back. The defenses are automated.
You gonna fight a laser with a knife, huh?
Yep.
Great episode. I do remember that one too. So just to mention a couple of other episodes, but I'm not going to dive too deep into them. There is an episode that me and Tony did a watch along. You can watch clips of that on the Facebook page, on YouTube, on TikTok. But there's Enter the Black Dragon, and then there's another episode called Enter the White Dragon. And I had talked about them earlier, where they're basically stand-ins for Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Enter the Black Dragon's okay. I'm more of a fan of Enter the White Dragon because Black Dragon's causing a bunch of like mishap, and basically White Dragon just shows up in front of Rambo, Cat, and Turbo, and he's like, yeah, that's my twin brother. I'm not the bad guy. I'm the good guy, and I'm here to help you and take down my evil brother, and who also, I believe, killed my father.
Black Dragon.
I'm not him, but I'm sure it was Black Dragon who stole the swords.
Who are you trying to fool, Buster?
You're gonna feel pretty silly if he's telling the truth.
I speak the truth, though it dishonors me to admit it. Black Dragon is my twin brother. I am called White Dragon, and if you hope to recover the swords, you'll have to trust me.
So they kind of do like this little backstory to it, but they don't dive too deep into it. But I do like that, like, they add him as a like helper. He's like a part of the team after that episode. And I'm a sucker for any shows that do that, where like, here's an episode where like now we have a new member of the team. Like, well, like in Thundercats, when they added different Thundercats to it. I'm like, oh, cool, like a new guy, a part of the hero team, because they call it the Force of Freedom, and there's like 3 people. Like, I don't know how many people need to be a force, but I guess if you have Rambo, that's half the force already.
No, honestly, right? Like, definitely got their work cut out for them.
But yeah, so that's what I have. Tone, do you have anything you want to say to kind of like wrap up the series?
Well, I had one more episode, but
oh, sure,
that I wanted to talk about just really quickly. The Exercise in Terror. But that's episode number, let's see here, 16. This one's kind of a good episode. I liked it because it takes place in like 3 different locations, all in the same episode, which is kind of cool for me. And basically, like, this episode starts with some children going on like a tour of like the Statue of Liberty, and Warhawk comes in and holds him hostage in the Statue of Liberty. And basically, like, Troutman calls Rambo, and Rambo's just like, oh, I've never been more angry in my life. They've gone too far, because it involves the kids. And Troutman's like, are you ready for this? It's going to be you on your own, like in pretty much like every Rambo movie and show ever. The government won't help you. I'm used to it. Yeah. And
you know what? You need to.
Never more true words said.
What's the emergency, Colonel? General Warhawk and Savage are holding children hostage inside the Statue of Liberty. They say they'll blow it up unless the government pays them $50 million.
I can't believe even those rats would sink so low.
Believe it. Anyway, you know our government can't give in to these people. So, would you like to go in there and show the general what the statue stands for?
I can hardly wait.
And basically, like, he hatches up some plan to sneak into the Statue of Liberty, save the kids. This is the episode that I mentioned earlier where it's just hilarious. Like, he's fucking climbing up a rock structure with suction cups. Turbo must have made him some really cool shit. And it's also funny in this episode too, like, Turbo is driving like a really fast car. And so, like, you know how like we were talking about Troutman's helicopter just like fucking showing up? Well, like, Turbo's going probably 60 miles per hour on the track, and Troutman's helicopter shows up with Rambo. And it's literally flying alongside and keeping pace with Turbo's Formula One kart. And Rambo's yelling at him with the megaphone, "Hey, we need you, Turbo. Stop what you're doing." And, like, fucking Turbo takes his car. He starts losing control. And he fucking shoots over a barn really high, and the car slams down. Loses all of its wheels and smoking, and he's like, "All right, guys, well, I'm done test driving your car." It's like, yeah, just
it was right. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, literally though, he's like, "Yeah, I'll see you later on that."
Turbo, park that buggy. I need
you. He's blown a tire. He's gonna hit us.
Don't sweat it. Turbo will handle it.
It's not a bad car, but the suspension's a little rough. We'll be in touch.
So basically, like, this episode, after the Statue of Liberty, he saves the kids, blah, blah, blah. The Warhawk gets away again for, like, the 80th time. And then suddenly the forces are in Paris. And this whole episode is about the Savage team trying to extort money to build an international terrorist training group. So basically, like, they're trying to extort money from, like, world leaders in, like, different parts of the world. So now, like, the Warhawk forces are planting a bomb in the Eiffel Tower, and Rambo gets captured and he escapes. And this is funny, too, like, going back to Incompetence, like, Rambo is strapped to the bottom of an elevator going down, strapped, and the rope that they used clearly wasn't enough to hold Rambo because he fucking wrists himself out, breaks the rope, and escapes. And then,
it's that, like, bandana.
Yeah, and then, like, you know, the bomb experts are up there and they put the timer on. Rambo shows up. He's got the arrow pointed at him. The bomb experts are like, "Oh my god, we're gonna die. Let us go." Oh, and then, like, they say please, and then Rambo goes, "Oh, I thought you'd never say please," and then he fucking shoots the arrow at the bomb's clock, stops the clock on the bomb, and it stops the bomb. Like, fuck, dude.
He
whatever.
does love his bow and arrows in this series. I feel like he whips that thing out a lot.
He really has a lot of creative uses for stopping things. And then, lastly, the episode ends in some place called Binduri Road. And basically, like, at this point, like, Kat gets captured. She was tailing Warhawk, and then Turbo and Rambo find out, and then Rambo pumps up. He does that scene where he puts on the clean bandana. Kat drops the guard and she escapes, and then Rambo RPGs the base. Everybody flees, but nobody dies. And then Rambo gets upset that, you know, Warhawk once again gets away. He's just so pissed. And he's talking to Troutman. And Troutman's just sitting there, and he's like, "Well, you know, you saved a bunch of kids. You captured 10 out of 10 of these men. 16 men of these 16 men. Can you have it all, Rambo?" And Rambo's like, "I won't stop until I get Warhawk." And that's how it ends. And it's like,
I want it all, and I want it now.
Honestly, God.
Oh, the General Havoc and Nomad got away.
Rambo, you captured 10 of Savage's troopers, all of Nomad's men, saved the peace conference, a bunch of little kids, the Statue of Liberty, and the Eiffel Tower. What more do you want?
I want to see the general behind bars.
I wouldn't worry about it, Rambo. I have a hunch you'll get another crack at him.
I can't wait.
Closing statements on the show, it's fun. It's worth it. I think for anybody out there who's a fan of Rambo, we'll find a lot to love here. If you can kind of just sit back and appreciate the fact that it is a cartoon, so not a lot of the shit's going to make sense anyway. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, with this series, we dive into TV shows and, I like to think we always put a positive spin on things, and it's, there's a lot to be said about this cartoon, but it is a cartoon for kids at the end of the day. So you can rip into it, but don't rip into it too much. If anything, sit back, smoke a little, drink a little, whatever you need to make it a fun show. But it is a fun show at the end of the day. And so I had a lot of fun, and I actually was pretty afraid of reviewing this series for the longest time because, you glance at it at first, you're like, wow, this show looks awful. And then it proves you wrong. It was a generally fun time. It was a good romp of a time. And going back into that final episode of yours real quick, I love that they did the whole, let's go get Rambo, but did it for Turbo instead. Get me Turbo, so... Yep. Yeah, I like that they give a couple of the side characters, they throw them a bone every once in a while,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And that being said, guys, you can find the Flashback Cartoon Hour on all podcast platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook and Instagram, we're now on TikTok. Our YouTube is starting to get a lot of traction, so, go hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we got a lot of fun stuff coming for you. Tone, thanks for joining me today, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
It was a blast, dude. You know how much I love doing this with you.
God bless our veterans out there. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Seriously. I have so much respect for them. And that being said, remember our 3 golden rules. Otherwise, Captain Planet will come shove a tree up your ass. Fight pollution. Save the planet. And as always,
separate your cardboards from your plastics.
Yeah. Or Rambo will get you. Oh, who do you think would win in a fight? Rambo or Captain Planet?
Say no to single stream recycling, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, that's kind of a toss-up. It could go either way. But honestly, if there's one thing that I've noticed about this show, is Rambo doesn't have any kryptonite like Captain Planet does.
Yeah.
Captain Planet's got some serious kryptonite issues that actually makes him a pretty ineffective superhero.
Amen.
In some respects. Because it's really, with Superman, right? It's basically just kryptonite, right? But
yeah,
Captain Planet, Captain Planet's issue is that any form of pollution can take him down. So if somebody rips ass and he's there, he's this fart, it's too much pollution. I gotta go back and recharge.
There's literally that episode where he fights Hitler, and Hitler's look alone has so much hatred that it like weakens them. Whereas like Rambo would absolutely kick the shit out of Hitler, you know? So in our book, Rambo over Captain Planet. And that being said, guys, thank you and have a good night.
Thank you.
put the timer on. Rambo shows up. He's got the arrow pointed at him. The bomb expert's like, oh my god, we're gonna die. Let us go. And then, like, they say please, and then Rambo goes, oh, I thought you'd never say please. And then he fucking shoots the arrow at the bomb's clock, stops the clock on the bomb, and it stops the bomb. Like, fuck, dude.